So, the tradition of cruising has been in the past. The old traditional cruising is, oh, there's one night that everyone's going to dress up and everyone's go, wear their
Yeah.
finest and have that very formal evening.
If there's one night on Virgin Voyages that turns heads, drops jaws, and brings out everyone's boldest side, it is Scarlet Night. This isn't just another themed party, it's an immersive ship-wide experience that invites you to let go, lean in, and live your best sea life. I'm Mike Robb, and on this episode of Sailor Sessions, Tracy and I are diving deep into the vibes, visuals, and Virgin-style surprises of Scarlet Night. So let's get into this. Tracy, how are you doing this week?
Hey, I'm great, Mike. Thanks, man. I've been looking forward to this discussion today of Scarlet Night, and but I've had a great week. I had a great time last week on our first episode, and so yeah, I hope you're doing well too.
Doing great. As we mentioned before we started, getting some more sales on my birthday cruise, and can never hurt. I love selling Virgin. Super easy to do, and everyone that comes back loves it.
We'll take all the bookings we can get, brother. Keep them coming. Yeah.
So tonight we're talking about it's not even a theme night. It is the party of parties on board Virgin. It is truly kind of the culmination of all the theme nights put together, in my opinion, where the ship turns red, all the different venues just go crazy with decorations and really draw you in. We're wearing red tonight in honor of Scarlet Night, but let's dive into what makes Scarlet Night so special on Virgin.
Yeah. Well, let's start back from the beginning, back maybe in 1970 when Richard Branson started Virgin Records. The early color he chose to represent that was red, and that's been Virgin's color. It's 485C, by the way, if you want to know the exact code for the red color. But that's been sort of this, the signature color of Virgin, from the airlines to the hotels to all the 40-some different entities that are out there. So when Virgin Voyages were created, it was obviously the premier color that we were going to have, or as we launched the brand. And the first ship, was Scarlet Lady. And so that ties right into the red. And so, the tradition of cruising has been in the past. The old traditional cruising is, oh, there's one night that everyone's going to dress up and everyone's go, wear their finest and have that very formal evening. And that's fine. That's great tradition. But Mr. Branson doesn't like tradition. He's like, let's do something different. Let's make our one night on the ship totally different. Let's call it Scarlet Night. Let's make up a fun story, and we'll talk about that goes along with it. And let's just let folks be themselves, have a great time, have all kinds of activities going on. And it is just really kind of the highlight of every sailing. And you've experienced it. Anyone who experiences it comes back and says, Scarlet Night was the highlight for a lot of folks.
And I feel there's so much going on that it's actually sensory overload. Where, especially your first time, you don't know what to expect. You've heard the stories from other sailors, but you don't know until you actually experience it. And I've been asked by my sailors that I book, like, what's it like? And I'm like, it's really hard to put it into words and capture it correctly. It is such a crazy, fun, different night that I'm used to on a cruise.
Yeah.
But I love it because the ship just goes all out. Goes red. Everything pretty much turns red. And I've noticed it reminds me of kind of a sunset, because it doesn't start off where it's just you walk out of your cabin to go to dinner and it's scarlet. Yeah. It is a slow, like orange red hue that really gets into that scarlet color as the night wears on, culminating obviously in the pool party. But yeah, I think for me, I'm looking forward to the Halloween cruise, because I know that's going to be kind of Scarlet Night and Halloween in one.
Yes. So folks dress up for Scarlet Night. They love to put on their color, but hey, dress up for Scarlet Night and do Halloween as well. I mean, it's just, they work so well together. So yeah, I think you're going to have an amazing, amazing time. The crew loves Scarlet Night too. It's just one of those nights that everyone, you can just feel, this is 2025 and I'm old school. I'm a Gen Xer, and I don't use the terminology, but Scarlet Night is a vibe. You know that
Yeah.
term? It's got to be a vibe, and you can't describe it with words. You can't describe it even with pictures. You got to feel it. You got to let it vibrate through you.
Yep.
And you're right. It starts in the afternoon. Actually, the ship starts transforming during the day. Oftentimes it's on a port day where most of the people are off the ship. They're coming back on and they notice some things are changing. There's some decorations here and there. There's some octopus tentacles actually growing in the roundabout.
Yep.
And you wander up to the pool deck later in the evening, you see this huge octopus up there around the pool. So it's like, this is different. The lights, we have such amazing technology on our ships that we can change the color of the lights everywhere in the hallways and on the outside of the ship. And you'll see about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, as you said, things start transitioning. This is not the same light pattern we had the rest of the sailing.
Yep.
And it starts getting red. And then, man, as the night goes on and the activities start happening and everyone gets, excited by the pool party, it's full blown red and everybody's just having a great time. Yeah.
Well, and let's talk about the story behind Scarlet Night, because there is a story.
There is.
Yeah. I don't want to ruin the story for anybody out there, but touch on it a bit regarding the goddess. Yeah. And just a little behind the scenes of Scarlet Night and how the story behind it.
Yeah. Well, let me just start out by saying it's a completely made up story, but it's a really fun story too. We had to kind of build something behind it. We're like, okay, we're going to have this great party. We're going to have this great night. All right, let's build something to make this sound like it's a really cool experience. So I'm not going to tell the whole story and I'm not going to spill the full beans, but the octopus that you're going to see everywhere sort of represents the sea. And then the sailors on the ship, we call all our passengers sailors, represent a sailor that actually fell into the sea and saved by this. I won't get the whole story, but anyway, it's a love story between the ocean and the sea and the sailor. And they tell the story in several different ways on Scarlet Night. You can go see the hostess and she will sing the story to you. They'll tell you more of the story and continue with the story up at the pool party. The dancers and all the performers are up there and they actually tell the story too. And they actually hold the moon. Yep. I mean, it's just such a cool way of bringing together this whole night of, celebration of love for one another and for, just being happy to be on the ship.
Yeah.
So it's really a cool story, but I won't give the whole thing away. I want your sailors to go watch the different performances. We have 3 or 4 different performances on that night of what Scarlet Night's all about.
Yeah. And in talking about performances, there are ship-wide, there's pop-up performances. There's some secret performances where you get invited by the crew. Yeah. I haven't been invited yet, but I've heard it's like confidential. You don't say it's like Fight Club. You don't talk about it.
Right. And it's one of those things that everyone wants to be invited to, but you can't act too eager to get invited to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm cool, but I would really like to go. So we encourage sailors to interact with that happenings crew. We talked about them last week, I think, about we don't have the cruise director, we have the happenings crew, and they lead Scarlet Night activities. So even before Scarlet Night, though, if you want to interact with them on the sail away, if PJ party your first night, all that other stuff, they might find you to be cool enough at some point. They slip you a little card, and the card just says, meet me here at this time on this day. And you don't know anything else about it. And you get to that place and that time, and there are other people with the same card. And you're like, why are we here? And then the happenings crew member comes and says, follow me. And the rest is confidential. I can't tell you what happens behind those scenes. And
I've heard rumors, but I'm not going to say anything.
I've been one time, but you are sworn to secrecy. And as soon as you walk into the non-public areas on the ship, they take your cell phone and they put it away. You cannot video or photograph. And so it's one of those cool little quirks about Virgin that people talk about. Not everybody gets to experience it, but you just hope you might get picked by a crew member to go.
And I want to get rid of one rumor I've heard that it's only suite guests that get invited. And that is not true at all. It's more about your interactions with the happenings cast when you first get on board, how excited you are, just kind of your own vibe as well. There's a vibe. Yeah. And again, we talked about it last week, which is what makes Virgin so special. And that is you can do what you want or you could do as little as you want or as much as you want. If you are looking to get that super secret, secret squirrel experience, as I say, it's more about engaging with the cast and but not acting too eager, like telling everybody, I want to go, because then you're not going to go.
Right. As soon as you say, can you give me a card? You're like, I don't have any cards. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's got to be that cool vibe of like, hey, I'm here for a good time. We thank you guys for what you're doing. And, it's really up to their discretion as to who they invite. And so don't be too eager, but don't be too reserved. You got to be that, just, be yourself. And that's the other thing about Scarlet Night too, Mike, is a lot of people think, oh, that's just a big party night. I'm not a big partier. You don't have to be a big partier. If you just like to see fun activity going on, if you just like to watch other people have a good time, Scarlet Night is a voyeur's delight, if you want to look at it that way. You don't have to be on the dance floor. You don't have to be in the pool. You don't have to be in the middle of the action. Just be off on the side and watch people have a great time.
Yeah, we talked about it. It's people watching.
Yeah.
And there's so many places. There's benches all along the hallways and areas. And I'm going to put a picture here in this section, but I'm going to show a couple pictures from when we did karaoke with the diva during Scarlet Night. And she came in a full red outfit, super big heels, and led karaoke. And we had a fantastic time listening to a great bunch of people sing. But then right afterwards, they reminded us, make sure to wander the ship. And right outside of where we were at, which was a social club, there was all of a sudden this pop-up performance of these two guys like doing some type of acrobatic thing right there. And it was really cool because it was only like 30 of us around them. Yeah. And it felt very intimate.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly right. You just don't know what's going to pop up where, because not only the happenings crew are leading things, but all our performers and all of our other shows, those acrobatic shows that we do, like Dual Reality and the Ship Show and all those people, they're very talented physical performers. Well, they pop up all around the ship during Scarlet Night too, and you just don't know what performance might happen right in front of you. It could be juggling, it could be a man and a woman doing their body contortion stuff. It's just amazing. But I will give you a little tip. I think about 8:30 or so, 8:30 in the roundabout, just kind of hang out in that area, because in the past we've done some fun things like a fake wedding takes place. One of my coworkers was actually, voluntold that he's going to be in the wedding as the groom. And it's just so much fun. And the happenings crew leads through that. And you might be asked to play a part, because there's several different parts. And if they think you're cool, they're like, hey, would you like to play a part? That might also get you a card, by the way, if you're willing to do that kind of thing. So look for those opportunities to engage as well. If you're an extrovert and you want to be part of it, make yourself available. Yeah.
And a tip from me on Scarlet Night is your reservations for dining, do it earlier.
Yeah. Go ahead and
if you want to eat, I would say 6.
Yeah.
6:30 at the latest, because you figure for an hour, you want to be able to, you want to be available by 8 o'clock effectively around the ship, and especially the roundabout. Draft House is a good place to hang out.
Right.
Anywhere around there, I think you're right. And then, of course, they'll have different activities going on. You can look on the app, but that's something else that you're not going to see every activity listed on the app. So you just got to kind of walk around the ship.
Yep. And if there's one night maybe you don't do the reserved dining, it would be possibly Scarlet Night, because you're gonna, if you're a person who wants to stay up and stay out late, kind of thing, maybe pizza at midnight or something like that. Pizza place is open till 2 a.m. on Scarlet Night. It's open to 2 a.m. every night. But that kind of thing, don't fret. Maybe if you don't have a dinner reservation on Scarlet Night, that actually could free you up for some fun other activities. After that little wedding ceremony, they actually take the whole little wedding party up to the grounds club, the next floor up, and they have a reception, and there's free-flowing bubbles. So you might even get free beverages if you're hanging out in the right place too on Scarlet Night. Yeah. And we're constantly reinventing Scarlet Night too, Mike, because we know we have a lot of repeat sailors, a lot of folks who come back and, they're part of the sailing club. And we like to kind of keep it fresh and new. And sometimes you may see something totally different and new on Scarlet Night that you didn't see your last sailing. So.
Well, and that's true too, because you guys rotate the happenings casts. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure, just like we all have our own skills and specialties, each of those members, even though they might be a gamer or they might be the foodie, they still have their own specialty within there that maybe one can do something that another one can't. So And then you're right, it keeps it fresh, because the one thing I will say that was odd to me when I first started learning about Virgin was the ship layouts are all the same across the board.
Yeah.
Obviously, Brilliant Lady is going to be a little different, and I can't wait. We're going to talk about that in a couple more episodes.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the first few ships are all the same layout.
Yeah.
One,
Yeah.
I like it because regardless of what ship you're on, you instantly know where you're at and how to get around.
Yeah.
But also, I've heard the critique from other cruisers who have cruised other cruise lines where each different ship is its own personality. And I was like, well, you get that through the crew, I feel, more than the ship itself. The ship is just, for me, a background for what is actually taking place on board. And each cruise or each sailing is going to be different based on the crew you have, the happenings cast, the people themselves, the sailors.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we really focus on. I mean, we love our hardware. Don't get me wrong. The ships are beautiful. But, our initial thoughts when designing these 4 ships, because we had them all scheduled to be built by Fincantieri over in Italy, build them the same. It's cheaper to do it that way, obviously, once you start with one design. And, as a new startup, we're like, we don't want to waste a lot of money redesigning everything.
Yeah.
But the second thing is we want to have some level of familiarity with the new sailor. We attract a lot of new to cruise people. A lot of people who sail with us have not cruised with anyone else in the past. Yep. They look at Virgin and say, that's totally different. And I have not been a fan of other cruise lines, but I'm going to try Virgin. My first cruise is going to be with Virgin, and probably I will not go with anyone else. So they appreciate the familiarity because, hey, I sailed in Caribbean on Scarlet. Now I'm going to the Mediterranean. I'm going to be on Valiant. It's exactly the same. A few pieces of artwork different, but all the restaurants are the same, all that. So they appreciate that familiarity. And, we've only got 4 ships, and that's fine that all 4 are just alike. I can't spill any tea about new ships coming because I don't know. But I do have a feeling that the 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever we might have coming next will not be the same as our first 4 ladies. They have set the standard, but I think we're going to stop at that and then do something different, whatever that might happen to be.
Yeah.
But people do appreciate that they are all alike. And you are exactly right. We encourage that crew to create that dynamic on every sailing. And even if it's the same ship, maybe you do back to back, it will be a different dynamic, even though it's the same ship you're on, because there's new people coming on board.
Yeah.
And it's about the people's interaction, not the hardware. So to speak. Yeah.
Well, let's jump into what to wear on Scarlet Night. Now, we kind of talked about it. You can wear, really get all dolled up and get dressed up to the nines. Now, me, I kind of skew that way because I love to dress up for a special night. So it's a little unique with Halloween cruise because I'm wearing my red velvet jacket for Scarlet Night, but I am going a certain way with the Halloween costume where it will most likely just be something on my head that will be able to match the rest of my outfit. But effectively, it's going to be a tuxedo with a red velvet jacket. That's what I'm doing for my Scarlet Night. But when I was on, I saw a guy who just had a what do you have? He had like a red bandana rolled up, like a neck bandana, and just wore that. I've seen people with just the red pocket squares in an all out like white outfit.
Yeah. The term we use is a splash of red. And so how much of a splash do you want that to be? It could be a small splash like the pocket square, or it could be a big splash like the red tuxedo jacket or sequins. I see a lot of people wear sequins. We have these glam stations too on Scarlet Night where men and women, whomever, can come get those sparkles on their face, and it's all free. It's actually offered there at the roundabout. So we glam you up as much as you want to glam. But there again, it's just like your experience on the ship. The rest of the time, it's as much or as little as you want to do. So wear what you want, be yourself, and be unique. Yeah.
What would you, I've got a little list. Like I have my own guidebook I give everybody that's new to Virgin, but from your experiences on Scarlet Night, what would be like 2 tips for first timers that you would recommend?
This is a personal story. I don't know if my wife will appreciate me telling you this, but you'll find out your first day of the sailing what night Scarlet Night is. And there's a pattern to it that's typically on a certain length of sailings. It's on the 2nd or 3rd night. And on longer sailings, it'll be on like the 5th night. But I won't give you that hard and fast rule because they'll change it as soon as I give you that.
Yeah.
So find out on your first day of sailing what night of the sailing of is Scarlet Night, and pace yourself that day. prepare yourself that day throughout the day. Now, my wife's first sailing was with me, and we did the Key West and Bimini, the Fire and Sunset. In this case, Scarlet Night was going to be on the night that we were in Key West that day.
Okay.
So my wife's a lightweight. She's a nurse. Let's just say she did not pace herself well in Key West. We went to Hog's Breath, and we went to Sloppy Joe's, and we hit all of the bars. And just 1 or 2 cocktails at each one of those, they started adding up. And as we got back to the ship and it was Scarlet Night, she wasn't feeling so great. And she had to go to the cabin. We had early dinner scheduled at Extra Virgin that night. And she and a few of we had a big group, a few of the other lady friends, they were in the same boat. And so they come wandering in late for dinner and said, we really don't want anything. I'm like, honey, this is Scarlet Night. This is the night you should be ready. So pace yourself. She now refers to Key West as Key Wasted because that's what happened. So definitely pace yourself is the first tip I would give. Second tip would be don't stress the small stuff. If you miss a performance somewhere, no big deal. There's going to be something else happening somewhere else. Relax and enjoy the experience. And most people do. I never really see people get all uptight and stressed about not getting to see the show with the diva or the hostess doing her show and that kind of stuff. And make sure, though, you stay up and go to the pool party.
Yes.
Because that's the creme de la creme. And that's where the biggest dance number takes place. That's where you're just going to sit there and think, wow. This is better than any nightclub I've ever been to. And look, we're under the stars in the Caribbean or wherever we might happen to be. That is the cherry on the top.
Yeah. And unfortunately on our cruise last year, it was raining. So it started outside in the pool, but it started to downpour. So they said, give us 15 minutes. We'll meet you in the manor.
Yeah.
And we went in there. It was a little crowded, but we found a seat. And of course, we weren't in the seat very long because we started dancing and having a good time. But yeah, I would say on my Halloween cruise, it is in Key West. And so I'm doing a tour of a distillery at 11. Okay. And then I'm going back to the ship for a little, what I call camping nap in the afternoon. So I can get up and get ready and be up all night. Because, hey, I go to bed early because we have jobs and all that. So I'm typically in bed at, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. So for something like that, I always want to make sure I'm up till at least 1 or 2 just to make sure you get that. But I agree. In our original cruise that we did, it was on the second night, our day at sea. Yeah. So they made it the day at sea. And so that was kind of nice where we kind of were able to relax all day, go back to the cabin, chill out, get ready at our own pace. A tip for me, like I said, is dine early if you're going to do a reservation. Otherwise, go to the galley and have something up there. Even if it's just a light bite. And then, like you said, do pizza or something later. Yeah. And then the second one is take a look at what the main events are and choose just 1 or 2 that you want to do because you want to leave open the time to go see some of the pop-up stuff. Yeah. And like you said too, don't fret over missing 1 or 2 of the events because 1, you can always come back on another cruise and see what you missed. Yeah. But 2, there's so much going on. Like I was overwhelmed. Like I said, it was sensory overload. Yeah. But in a very good way, like, holy, what's going on? Okay, there's something here. There's something over here. Yeah. And I just chose what I thought we would like. And we kind of, April would be like, oh, I want to go see that. Cool, we go to that. And then like 25, 30 minutes later, oh, we're walking down. Oh, there's something over here. Yeah. And we just go over there and do that. And I think you just kind of got to set yourself up to be very chill with a schedule. Yeah. And just kind of go with the flow. Because that's what Virgin's about anyways. But Scarlet Night, with everything going on, just go with it. Do what you feel like you want to do. And don't think, oh, I'm missing out on something else because you want to go. So we had to sit at karaoke. We had to get there a little early. So we probably missed a few things. Okay. But we wanted to get a seat. And that was something that we really like to do is watch karaoke. Yeah. And this time I've decided I'm going on and I'm singing Love Shack by B-52s. So we're going to get someone else. I've got a group of people that we're going. And so one of the other couple of people have said, we'll join you up there. So we're going to be doing that. But hey, it's what you make of it. Just like we've talked about. That's the thing with Virgin. It is not so regimented like some of the other more traditional cruise lines where you have your 2 seatings at the main dining room, and the comedy shows at 8 and 10, and this show's at 8:30, and it's not that. It's very much just show up and party.
Yeah, it's all on your terms, and the whole sailing is that way. It's on your terms. You're an adult. You can decide what you want to do when you want to do it. You'll get a schedule of events, and like you said earlier, there'll be some things popping up that aren't on that schedule. So definitely feel free to explore and look around, and even pull that happenings cast member aside and say, what's the don't miss tonight? What do I need to make sure I see when and where? And they'll appreciate you, taking that time to kind of plan ahead too. So, but like I said, it's just really a fun night. Now, if you're an introvert and you don't like being around a lot of people, you can go to several different areas on the ship that's not quite as, loud and fun. I think the dock and the dock house back there at the back of the ship are still quiet.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, there might be lighter music back there. The outdoor areas are also very quiet on the lower decks, on deck 7. So you can chill if you want to too. But I just got to say, even if you're an introvert, Scarlet Night is the one night you do not want to miss. You want to come back and say, yeah, I got to see it all. I got to do it all.
Another tip too is don't miss out on getting your photo, because they're free.
Yeah, they are
digital. Yeah. You just go over to the machine and you take your photo, but take the 5-10 minutes to stand in the line and wait your turn to do it. Because I use that photo all the time. I love it. It's one of the things I post when I talk about Virgin, and we're going to be posting it tonight on this episode.
Yeah.
And I know one of the things is we said, if you're an introvert, you don't need to participate. But to me, I do feel that if you want to get the most out of Scarlet Night personally, but that's probably because I'm more of an extrovert.
Yeah.
And that is, it's about participating, even just standing around and watching the pop-ups. I really think it's about just being there in the moment. And like we mentioned in the intro, you lose yourself. Just just be in that moment. Forget about work. Forget about any issues back home, whatever it is. Just for that evening, immerse yourself in the stories and in the pop-up performances and the activities there, because you're going to think back, and it's what we tell our destination wedding couples, and that is enjoy it because it's going to go by so fast. The same thing said about Scarlet Night. I look back and I'm like, I can't believe how fast those 6 hours went.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've traveled a lot around the world. I've been to a few places too in the past, and I've had those moments where I've just stopped where I was. Maybe it's in Egypt looking at the pyramids, and I just stop and think, God, would I have imagined 40 years ago as a kid growing up in Union County, North Carolina, that I would someday be standing here where the pharaohs stood and, all this amazing history, and all these other places around the world that you kind of get to travel to. And you just have that epiphany moment, like, how fortunate am I to be here, to live during this time, of course, 2025, and to have the freedom to travel and to see and have the finances to do it. Scarlet Night's kind of one of those nights to me. I mean, if you just kind of pull yourself away, especially if you're up at the pool deck, well, everybody's having such a great time. The lights are shining, the music's playing, you look around, and it seems like there's harmony and peace on earth with everybody there. And you just stop and say, man, what a cool time to be alive. And what a cool night to be out here in the middle of the ocean, watching 2,000 other people just have a great time. And so it does kind of bring you back to a point that you're like, we are so fortunate, so blessed, so, lucky to have what we have, where we live. And Scarlet Night's sort of a celebration of all of that to me. It's just one of those nights where you can just say, man.
It takes me back to the late 90s when I used to go to the raves and the after hours stuff, dating myself here. Yeah. But it really is, peace, love, unity, and respect, as they say, plur. It is truly about just being there, listening to the music, being with your fellow sailors, and enjoying yourself without worrying about all the crap we worry about, with first world problems that we have.
Yeah. Yeah. You're in the middle of the ocean. Work can't get to you. Stress can't get to
Yeah.
you. Bills can't get to you. Your problems can't get to you. So you just enjoy it that night and just let all the rest of that stuff float away.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what that night's all about. Yeah.
So for you, are there, a couple of venues that you would recommend people definitely check out on Scarlet Night
Well,
besides
I
the
mean,
pool at the end of the night?
yeah, especially your first time. If it's your first time, there will be maybe three performances with the hostess telling the story of Scarlet Night. And like I said, even though it's a made up story, it's a really cool, fun, made up
Yeah.
story. And the hostess does a fantastic job. It's very dramatic and very theatrical. It takes place in the Red Room. And if you can get maybe to one of the earlier performances of that before things start happening in the roundabout and areas like that, maybe the 7 o'clock performance, try to get to that and see that
Yeah.
first, because that sort of sets the stage for the rest of the night. The rest of it, no. I mean, we already mentioned that you kind of hang out the roundabout, see what's happening when they do the official kickoff and the dance routine, and then maybe that little wedding takes place or whatever new activity you might have there. And then, as you said earlier, then start exploring, start going around the ship and saying, hey, what might be happening here or there, the draft house, or at Sip Champagne Bar, or, on the rocks, of course. So there's many different areas that you might find some fun activities going on that appeal to you. And pop-ups are
Yeah,
happening.
because I wasn't in this area, but are there any activities going on in and around the casino during Scarlet Night, or do they keep that off because people are playing?
Yeah, they don't want to distract the serious gamblers. So yeah, they're of course the manor entrance is right there. So
Yeah.
there's something happening in the manor that could kind of spill out in that iconic hallway. But really, the gamblers are pretty serious, and so are the dealers and things like that. They don't want interruptions, so they definitely want to keep the casino, off limits to crazy activities on Scarlet Night.
So let's talk about, as we wrap up this episode of Scarlet Night, because we don't want to spill everything. We want people to experience it.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the experiences you can have between being in a group versus a couple or even a solo traveler, and what their experiences could be like during Scarlet Night.
Well, for groups, and it depends on how large your group might be. In the case of maybe your birthday group and things like that, you could talk to our circles team internally and ask them if there's any activities that your group could actually do together on Scarlet Night, or as you're coming on board the ship, work with the onboard circles coordinator and say, hey, we've got 30 or 35 people on Scarlet Night. Can we have one of the happenings cast come do a private performance for us, maybe at the athletic club or in one of those larger public areas in the outdoors? So those are all possibilities. We are open to discussing that and making sure you and your group have the best possible time. Now, most often though, people are in the mid-sized group of maybe 6 to 12 people, 4 or 5 couples hanging out together kind of thing. And that's where you can just sort of flow together to different spots and kind of hang out. Like if karaoke is the thing that everybody kind of agrees on, you might want to go hang out by the social club earlier that night. Or if you all want to make sure you see the performance, you go ahead, head down to the Red Room a little early and get in line for that. But it's a very group friendly evening, but that doesn't mean it's not a solo friendly evening too, because solo travelers are fully embraced on Virgin. We really want them to know that they can participate as much as they want with anyone else on the sailing, or they can just be by themselves. It's totally their call. But there'll be plenty of opportunities for them to, engage with whatever's happening. Nobody looks at anyone as, oh, you're here by yourself kind of thing. They're like, hey, come on. They put their arm around you if you want to do that. Be part of our gang. You can get pulled in by one of those groups of 4 or 5 couples and things like that. So,
well, and for solo travelers too, the first night they have the meetup for all the solo travelers, so you guys get to know each other. Plus, most sailings are going to have a group on Facebook or Cruise Critic or something like that where you can join in and kind of decide what you guys want to do together, even do some of the short things together, whatever. Yeah. One of the cruises I took over 10 years ago down in the Southern Caribbean islands, we ended up finding on Cruise Critic 20 other people that were all sailing, and we were all kind of in the same area of the ship. Yeah. And so we started talking, and one person said, hey, we've still got 2 spots available for this catamaran sail in Barbados, in Bridgetown. So he said, sign us up. Ended up being adults only. This catamaran can fit like 25 people, but it only holds 12.
Yeah. Awesome.
And she serves like breadfruit and fish and salads and all. And you get rum punch and Banks beer and all that wonderful stuff. Yeah. And you get to go snorkel with the turtles. And so but we wouldn't have known about that. And now every time we go to Barbados, we always go on this one tour. We've been several times. Yeah. And it's the same thing. And we met because of a group. So jump on Facebook, get in there and say, hey, search for, I'm doing Virgin Voyages, or the name of the ship, Scarlet Lady, Resilient Lady, this sailing date, and see what pops up. So there's typically going to be some type of group that you can join and get to know people. So if you are one of those people like me, I'm sailing solo because April's getting back from a trip from Italy. Literally, she comes back like 24 hours later, I'm on a plane to Miami. Yeah. So if it wasn't for that, she'd be coming with me. But to be honest, because it'll be my first sailing ever solo, I'm a little nervous, but I also know about 100 people who are going to be on that from a Facebook group we're in. Yeah. And we're networking, talking, who's coming in early. We're all going to go to Ball and Chain in Little Havana and have a mint julep, or I'm sorry, not a mint julep, a mojito. And probably grab some food down there. Yeah. And then we're all going to meet up. We're doing a meetup on the ship. And so for me, I'm excited because I can kind of do what I want when I want without having to worry about really a schedule.
Yeah. There's a whole movement out there now. It's continuing to grow. And that might be something that we focus on more on our next ships. We designed these 10 years ago, technically, for them to be constructed. But I know solo cruising, solo travel is really becoming more and more popular. And people appreciate having group time when they want group time, and then having that me quiet time when they want that time too. And even when my wife and I travel together, there are times we schedule that we're not with each other at the same time. She's like, I'm going to go back to the room and take a nap. Will you just please stay away for a few hours, kind of thing. And it's good because everybody needs that unwind time, that time to just, decompress. And heck, if you can do it for the whole sailing, man. Of course, when I travel for work for Virgin, I sail solo too. And so I kind of enjoy it as well, like having that cabin to myself and just kind of throwing my underwear around wherever I want to.
Having the mood lighting however you want.
I keep hitting the get it on mood, just like
opening, closing the blinds or the curtains.
Just playing with the iPad in there. Yeah.
That's fun. I think a wrap up with the insider tip of this week is really a culmination of what we've already talked about. And that is show up early, participate in what you want to participate in. Some of the best surprises for Scarlet Night aren't on the schedule or in the app. They're just those pop-up performances, little special things that happen with the Happenings cast or whatnot. And just be in the moment, wander around, watch, join in where you want to. But most of all, you just need to say yes to Scarlet Night in the sense of just being present in the moment and just experience it, however that experience is for you.
Yeah. Leave all your troubles behind. Leave anything that's holding you back from home. Just put it away for that night and just go expect the unexpected and see what might happen. Enjoy every part of the evening. Even if it's something new and different to you, even if you experience something that you've never experienced before, embrace it. That's what life is really all about, is finding those really cool, new, unique experiences that you never thought you might get to do, and then embracing it and creating that memory you'll have for a lifetime.
Absolutely. Yeah. Scarlet Night might just become your favorite night at sea. It certainly is ours. So don't forget, anyone who books a Virgin Voyages sailing with me this month gets 2 entries into our swag bag giveaway, plus up to $150 in sailor loot for the first 15 bookings. Full details are in the episode description below. And be sure to subscribe to Sailor Sessions, follow us on Facebook, and make sure to share this with your fellow cruisers. And next week, we're going to be all about Virgin Voyages dining, from the galley to the gourmet tasting menus and the 6 amazing restaurants. The coolest part about that is there is no specialty dining because it's all included in your cruise fare. And I might even have a special guest as well. So we'll stay tuned for that. But with that, hope you have a great rest of your week, and you won't want to miss next episode as we get more into dining. Thank you. Have a great day.